The last week has revealed a number of reasons to be at least skeptical about the FBI probe into Russian collusion during the last election. Peter Strzok, the FBI agent, is a seething Democratic partisan who, when you read his text, sounds like a middle schooler. Andrew Weissman praised Sally Yates for her left-wing virtue signaling. DOJ official Bruce Orr's wife worked for Fusion GPS. Orr himself met with Fusion GPS and did not tell his superiors. It is pretty rational now to suspect the investigation may be ideologically compromised, certainly in the view of the public, and that's not a small thing. Not everyone agrees with this, though. Philippe Reines was an advisor to Hillary Clinton at the State Department during the 16 campaign and long before that, and he joins us now. So, Philippe, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not running for the Supreme Court or anything, but it seems to me that if
you don't have to be these days.
You don't have to be. To ask a simple, dumb question such as this, if you're investigating somebody, shouldn't you at least complete your interviews of relevant figures in that investigation and of the principal herself before you decide what the answer is? Comey, 2 months before interviewing Secretary Clinton, decided that she was innocent of the charge. How can that be?
Well, I can't sit here and defend Jim Comey because I think I'm sitting here because I can't defend Jim Comey, in the sense that it's hard to say that if people who think that he did her any favors, that's crazy. Secretary Clinton would probably, or had a much better chance of being president had it not been for Jim Comey. So it's not, I don't think it's that.
I agree with you, actually. I think he hurt her by his public statements about her, without question. I said so at the time. But my concern is not even who won the election. It's, is the process on the level or not? So take out Hillary Clinton's name and put in anybody else's name. Is it okay to reach a conclusion before actually interviewing the person?
I don't know that that's what he did, but it was inappropriate for him to even be considering making a public statement. The fact that he found nothing there to proceed on meant he should have just issued a statement saying this has been resolved. Instead, he went out and he made a scathing comment on July 5th that had a great impact. So I agree with you. He did not proceed appropriately and by the book, and I think he might end up suffering for that because there's now an investigation of how he handled it. But someone having drafts of what they may say, I think they were pretty thorough and they went where the evidence found them.
So if you think Comey is discredited and was irresponsible as head of the FBI, that casts a shadow, I'm sure,
I don't
in your
think
mind.
he's discredited. I think he's self-righteous.
Okay, but wait a second. Comey's also the one who oversaw this Russia investigation. So let me ask you a macro question that seems to have been lost in the shuffle recently. This investigation is about Russian interference in the 2016 election and collusion purportedly between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. None of that has surfaced at all. There's no evidence to this moment that there's any collusion at all between those two bodies. Does that bother you at all?
Well, we don't know what's been found yet. We know that 4 people have pled guilty for breaking the law in one way or another, including Mike Flynn, in regards to his conversations with the Russian government.
No, that's not true. He was actually charged with and pled to lying to federal agents.
Well,
it happened to be about those
why do you lie
conversations.
about something?
I don't know.
You
but
lie about
I do
something
know
because you're doing something you shouldn't do.
That the most intensive investigation of my lifetime conducted by the federal government of a public official has, and everything's been leaked, as you know, like everything. I mean, Strzok's text messages I have right here. There's no evidence that there was actual collusion. And in fact, Democrats I know don't believe there was collusion, that Putin was trying to help Trump. I mean, it's like ludicrous. Does that bother you?
It bothers me that people are prejudging and trying to undermine Bob Mueller. He is going to get to the bottom of this. We'll know soon enough, whether that's next week, next month, 6 months from now. We should let him do his job.
Sure, and by the way, I'm not calling for his resignation.
But the text message you have in front of you, you shouldn't have.
Okay, fine.
That are people trying to undermine a process.
You know who should have them is Congress should have them, because Congress has the oversight role.
That's fine.
And the FBI withheld them for months, and that's a huge problem.
We're in total agreement.
Okay, but if at the end of this you have a bunch of people charged for obstruction or perjury, but none of the charges and none of the evidence points to the core allegation of collusion between the campaign and the Russian government, can we all agree that this has been a total travesty and a disaster?
Absolutely not. I can't agree to that. Because where there is this much smoke, there is more smoke, there is flames, there are wildfires. What these people were doing, even if this is all we know.
I get it. So if someone looks guilty, he is.
No.
If someone's standing in front of a liquor store looking shifty, let's just send him to jail.
No, but if someone cuts a bargain and pleads guilty, they are guilty.
So if you look guilty and we charge you for something unrelated to the actual crime, you must have been guilty of the crime?
But
like,
this isn't about
insane,
you or
actually.
me judging it. It's Mike Flynn saying, hi, I'm Mike Flynn. I am guilty. We don't know what else.
The FBI jumps in your face and says, we're going to send you away on a perjury charge unless you plead to it. Fine, I get it. And he lied. I'm not defending Flynn. My only point is, if this doesn't bring to the surface evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia, what is the point of this? The point is to hamstring the administration. You can't do that in a democracy. That's bad. Would you
I don't
agree?
believe that's what it is. If you look at how this started, this in large part started because of the president's refusal to accept the intelligence community's assessment that the Russian government actively tried to undermine
Where's the
our
evidence
election.
of that? Where's a single piece of evidence of that?
The intelligence community, the bipartisan, nonpartisan career people have presented that.
The ones that called 9/11 and the collapse of the Soviet Union, the people who've been consistently wrong.
You forgot Iraq.
No, and Iraq. That's the first one, by the way. I'm agreeing with you on that. They provided not a single piece of evidence publicly, and yet we're all supposed to nod in bovine agreement. It must be true because unnamed superiors say it's true.
But that's not a Democrat-Republican thing.
I'm not saying it is.
No, but I mean,
I'm just saying it's insane.
But you have Republicans in Congress.
A ton of them, and I disagree with all of them. The ones who just reflexively agree with unnamed
But they've seen the intelligence.
Sources,
they've seen what you and I haven't.
Because they're stopping
We're allowed to have secrets as a nation.
Look, we've shut down the whole government over this. So don't we have a right to know that there's something real there? I haven't seen one thing.
We have a right to know what happened. And I think that's what this process is leading to. And that's why Bob Mueller should be left alone.
Oh, we're leaving him alone. He better, but it better
clearly
be more
he
than
hit a nerve. He hit a nerve, and that nerve is named Mike Flynn.
All right, we'll see. Philippe, thank you.
No, thank you as always.